to it.
Vrashew and his wingman Lou Little bring up the rear of their 12-plane formation. As they fly the 90 miles from their carrier, they stay low to avoid enemy radar. Approaching the atoll, they climb to 13,000 feet. The higher altitude gives them better visibility and positions them for diving attacks.
You want to have an altitude advantage because altitude can be translated into airspeed with a dive.
The enemy has scrambled fighters. The Americans haven't spotted them yet. Vrashew's flight noses over to start its strafing run on the enemy airstrip.
First 10 had already started their dive going down, and we were just preparing to, but I just took a looked back over my shoulder, and that's when my mind was quickly changed.
There they are, 3,000 feet above, a swarm of Japanese Zeros, closing fast from 7 o'clock. Vrashew radios the other Hellcats, but they're already diving. He must stay and fight.
I couldn't continue because then I'd have a stream of Zeros right behind us while we were going down.
Vrashew and Little are here. The other Hellcats are here diving. The Zeros attacking from above. If Vrashew dives, the Zeros will be on his and the squadron's 6 o'clock. Perfect attack position. His only option is to turn sharply into the enemy, minimizing his cross-section and reducing his time in the Zero's gun sights. Vrashew and Little pull a hard left turn and focus on the lead Zero.
He was already starting to shoot. I could see the twinkle of the guns. So I headed towards him and made a burst, a fast burst, just to discourage him, and he stopped his run and just kept going down. They had a habit that they weren't afraid to attack, but once they were countered, they'd dive down for the water.
The first Zero darts away, but immediately another swings around on Vrashew's tail. The Americans counter by pulling up into a steep chandelle. They're relying on the Hellcat's superior power, large wing area, and strong airframe to push them through the high G maneuver and turn the tables on the Zero.
The chandelle maneuver, it's basically a maneuver to try and point your aircraft in another direction in a fairly quick method. Instead of just doing a level turn, actually pitch your nose up high, roll over on a wing, and now you can use gravity, or what we like to call God's G, to help you out in the turn, allow you to pull your nose around faster and point in the other direction.
The enemy cranks over hard, trying to stay behind the Americans, but the Zero can't hack the severe turn. He stalls. The Hellcats roll over and get behind the falling Zero. They're primed for the kill, but more Zeros speed in from above.
I had ideas to try to follow him, but there were still some planes above me. I had to get them out of my back.
He doesn't want to be fighting anybody that can be sitting up on a perch 2,000 feet above him, who can then instantly dive down, pick up energy, and now have an advantage on him on a turn. So he wants to bring the whole fight down low if possible, to beat everybody down to the same state.
Vrashew and Little must neutralize the enemy's numerical and altitude advantage. They snap into a classic defensive maneuver, the thatch weave. In the thatch weave, the two Hellcats swing back and forth, providing mutual support and protection. If a Zero positions himself to fire on one of the Hellcats, he will fall under the guns of the second American fighter. Vrashew and Little dodge and weave. The Zeros come at them from every direction.
These Zeros were good. We were able to ward them off a little bit, but what they do, they'd fake you on one side, and then the guy would come from the other side and try to come on in.
The Zeros press the attack. The Hellcats are surrounded. February 16, 1944, above Truck Lagoon in the South Pacific. Hellcat pilot Alex Vrashew and his wingman Lou Little mount a desperate defense against attacking Japanese Zeros. Frustrated by their inability to score decisive hits, the Japanese move down to the Hellcat's altitude. It's a fatal mistake. The Americans break their defensive formation and seize the advantage.
Up until that time, we were purely defensive. Once they came down to our level or below, then we were able then to go on the offense.
The Americans have skillfully turned the tables. Now the Zeros are vulnerable to the powerful and highly maneuverable Hellcats. What ensues is the dogfight equivalent of a brawl, and the winner determined by who can line up the first burst. Vrashew turns hard on an attacking Zero. The Japanese pilot dives to escape.
One of the favorite Japanese techniques, if engaged and in a defensive position, was to try to dive away and try to head for the water.
The technique worked with the Wildcat, but not with the Hellcat.
Once he caught on fire, okay, he's gone down. You're looking for another one. You just go from one to the other and hope you get a dozen of them.
Vrashew draws a bead on a second Zero. The enemy tries to dive away, but the Hellcat easily catches him. It's Vrashew's second kill of the day. Then he spots a roof, a float plane version of a Zero. Again, the enemy dives away. Vrashew is relentless. His job is to sweep the enemy from the sky.
And once I got on their tail, I didn't let go.
Kill number 3. Vrashew spots another Zero at 12 o'clock low.
I started to try to get in position, but he wouldn't let me. He kept ducking into a cloud.
The Zero is running from cloud to cloud, so Vrashew calls on a basic dogfighting tactic.
I'm not going to let the SOB get away. So I just pulled up and kept looking for him while he was ducking in and out, and got in position to where I figured he couldn't see me. I pulled up into the sun and waited until I got a good shot, and I came down on him from 5 o'clock. I don't think he ever knew what hit him.
Vrashew's 50 caliber armor-piercing rounds slice into the Zero's wing tank and cockpit. Vrashew's 4th kill of the day plummets in a flaming spiral.